You belong to yourself. You're an independent people, created from the nation of free people.
Yes, sir.
You don't need to go nowhere but to yourself.
Yes,
sir. So the challenge is an education that enlivens us to do business. Business is the activity of life itself. Every creature is born with the inherent ability to attract out of this material earth what it needs to perpetuate its species.
Peace and blessings and assalamu alaikum. How is everyone doing this morning? Let me see what y'all up to over here in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I just was, while we were on hold watching that, I just sneezed like 30 times. I just want y'all to know that allergy season is real and it is up on us. But you know what? I'm just loving nature this year. I'm so excited about the flowers and the trees. I don't know that I've ever been that excited about it. I don't even care this year that Zyrtec and Claritin and everything else does not work. I'm just excited about the trees and nature and just being out in it. So excuse my allergy face. I wanted to talk about a few things today. First off, let me remind you all, if you have not yet donated, go to sajdahhousedonations.com. We need your support of the renovation and restoration of the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I notice a lot of people are kind of sitting on their hands, and I don't think everybody's shadow boycotting. There's a lot of people shadow boycotting, but I don't think everybody is. And I think because you're thinking, I don't have a lot of money. I don't have thousands to donate. But if you got $50, $100, $250, $500, $1,000, $5,000, make a donation. Go to sajdahhousedonations.com. Make your donation and show up for us this Friday. I am so excited about this event. We're going to be at the Silver Room on May 20th from 5 to 8 p.m. It is a fundraiser for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House, an incredible project that I've been blessed with. And speaking of projects that you're blessed with, someone sent me this video from Reverend T.D. Jakes, and it reminded me of the house and my businesses, because ever since I started and I decided that I was no longer going to keep God out of my business life, I wasn't going to be schizophrenic and have corporate Wendy and spiritual Wendy and this one. I was like, no, it's all in one. And I'm going to be a spiritual and conscious business person. That's how I'm going to roll. I watched my income quadruple. And sometimes when we leave God out, that's when we start to struggle. That's when we start to experience the darkness. And normally as we're flailing around in the darkness, what happens? We stumble right back into God. So I want y'all to hear this. Check this out. We're going to talk about that a little bit today.
I am tired of living within limitations. I'm tired of coloring inside of the lines. I'm tired of being a good little boy and eating my apple and going to bed. I'm getting ready to launch out into the deep. I'm getting ready to get radical. I'm getting ready to go to the next level. Somebody's watching me online. You don't realize that the only reason God gave you a business is so that it could be his platform. And God has maneuvered you into a position so that he could get the glory out of your life. And you're frustrated trying to work out the problems in the business. The problem isn't in the business. The problem is in you. When God gets your attention, everything in your business is going to change. Everything in your life is going to change. Everything on the boat is going to change. Launch out into the deep.
What? What? Is that not what we've been talking about? We've been talking about that touched my soul. When I received that, I was like, oh, that touched my soul. The only reason why God gives you a business is because it's his platform. Think about that. It's his platform. So why would we leave God out of it? This is the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business, and how we put life and love and business all together. We don't separate. We don't go, I'm going to be this way when I deal with my business. See, because when we start to put God in it and understand that this is God's platform, this is how he's going to work out, this is how he's working through us, this is what he's doing, then guess what? He comes forward and he allows us more opportunities to be ourselves. That's the powerful thing. He allows more opportunity to be our authentic self. And I thought that was so appropriate because one of the reasons why I really started doing the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks is really an offshoot of my brand, The Authentic You. And it's all about us discovering and monetizing our authenticity. One of the prayers, consistent prayers that I have for Allah for a long time now is, I want to get paid and sustain myself off of who you made me to be. I don't want to be in a corporate setting or in a position where I have to be somebody else. I don't want to be in a position where I got to be an actress. I don't want to be in a position where I got to be fake or phony or something that I'm not. I want to be able to be me. And in me being me is me striving to be you. So Allah bless me to sustain myself based on who I am. So that's right, sis. Let me show that. Let's accept our own and be ourselves in our businesses. Because that's why it's so stressful. That's why they talk us into working a certain number of years, paying into a retirement fund, or they take it directly from us in Social Security. They take part of our money, then we retire, and then we die shortly after that. You should never think about retiring. This is just my advice. You should always find something to do. It might be less strenuous. It might be less involved. It might be, a little bit more low key, but you want to always be working this magnificent brain. What's the benefit of working all these years and being super intelligent and having accomplished all this stuff and finally understanding what life is about, and then you go and lay down and die? Come on now. That's not what life is about. It's about us taking what we've learned along the way in this journey and applying it into life. So let me see something. Somebody said, don't want to have to go along to get along. That's not me. That's right. Thursday, when we were in the Mode Today manifestation class, we were talking about thoughts and belief systems. So let me see. Let me find something for you guys, because I don't know if you all remember our sponsor, Magnolia Crescent, Brother Anthony and Sister Karima. They sent me an excerpt from a speech given by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on October 23rd, 1994. And the speech is called Belief in Allah. And it's so powerful and it aligns so much with what we're talking about. I wanted to go over that a little bit with us here this morning, because again, these coffee talks are about life, love, and business. And sometimes as business people, we need a little fine tuning, because we don't always have time to go to church or to mosque, or sometimes we're so busy that even when we do go, we're there, but we're not there. And so we are so full with our business and with moving things to the next level, because, and some people will mistake that to think that we're really just always focused on money. But really what it is we're focused on developing a platform that Allah is giving us. And so oftentimes things that don't align with that platform, we have a tendency to turn off. And so I just want to tie a few things together here with what we've been talking about in our spirituality for entrepreneurs, our road to becoming conscious entrepreneurs, our road to becoming powerful manifestors, and to becoming gods. Here's something interesting. I'm just going to read it because I don't have the clip, but I think it's better read. It's just a few things from it. Vision. And he says, brothers, it is a great blessing to be able to see. Jesus opened the eyes of the blind. He gave back to people the gift of sight. Isn't that powerful? It's a blessing to be able to see. Put that in the chat. It is a great blessing to be able to see, because it's nothing like going into a business meeting or going into a conversation and you can't see what's happening. It's a blessing to be able to see. That's why we pray as entrepreneurs that Allah is there for us and He sees and knows and makes known to us what we can't see. And it is a great blessing to be able to see, as the minister says. He said, Jesus opened the eyes of the blind. He gave back to the people the gift of sight. So think about that. You have sight, you can see, and then somehow through the course of life, you lose that sight. And then Jesus gives you back your sight. Then he goes on to say, vision is the faculty of sight. It is unusual competence in discernment or perception. That goes beyond looking at a thing. It goes into looking beyond a thing, looking into a thing, so that you have an unusual competence in the ability to discern what others miss. You all hear me talk about all the time that part of my journey to find my authentic self is learning to take traits and things about myself that at one time I actually thought was negative, and I actually perceived that other people saw it as negative in me. And one of those things was my sensitivity. And as a child, I just remember everything affecting me. I just remember by the time I got to high school, I hated the fact that I was so sensitive. And from high school up until my commitment to change that, I hated that about myself. And I would say that. I literally would say prayers like, Allah, I no longer want to be impacted by what I see out here or what I do. And it would sometimes, things that I would see and feel would almost cripple me, because I'd feel it in my stomach, my solar plexus, or I'd get a pang, or I'd go into a situation and I'd see something and I was immature with what I could see, and I would say it too soon. And then other people thought I was crazy or didn't believe me. And then what I also hated was that then when it happened, they wouldn't come back and say, oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, we treated you like that. But what I learned was that it was my problem. It was me trying to deal with my discomfort over one of my greatest gifts. And so one day I said, Allah, you got to help me turn this into an attribute or a trait. And I started to think about business. I said, you know, a lot of times when you go into the meeting, you can see things that other people can't see. You can hear things that other people can't hear. And I said, that's part of your sensitivity. Why not embrace that? Why not make that a product or service that you offer? So when people come and sit down with you, you can really help them to problem solve because you have that ability. That is a gift. And so instead of killing your gift and wishing your gift would go away, why don't you embrace your gift? And so I set on that journey to do that. And that's how I started to develop the Authentic You brand of service. And it's interesting because my entire life, I have been taught to embrace who I am and my authentic self. My mother didn't allow us to be phony or fake or in her house. She didn't play that. So I knew better, but I didn't do better. And so that's a lesson in that for all of us. And so I said, all right, this trait, this attention to detail, this sensitivity to detail, the sensitivity of vision and sight and hearing and sound and smell, this kind of antenna or radar that you not only have inside of you, but that you are. I looked myself in the mirror and I said, Wendy, let's embrace that. Let's embrace that. You don't always have to react to it negatively. It's actually a good thing. It's a beautiful thing. So I started using it to point me in the right direction. And I stopped talking so much about it. I stopped, spewing what I could see, touch, hear, and feel that maybe I felt others didn't see. It was on an as needed basis. But I realized it was for me because it became his platform. And from embracing that, I believe that it's one of the reasons why Allah chose me to renovate the home of his servant, his Christ, his messenger, the Mahdi, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, because of my sensitivity to detail. So I'm saying that in response to what the minister is saying here, that we want to have the ability not just to look at something, but to look beyond it. It's chess, not checkers. To look into a thing so that you have an unusual competence. You all have abilities and gifts out there that you're just allowing to lay dormant. Your gift doesn't have to be mine. My gift doesn't have to be yours. We all have different, unique gifts. Embrace who you are. Then the minister goes on to say, Webster says that a vision is a mental image produced by the imagination. Let's put that in the chat. A vision is a mental image produced by the imagination. Once again, he said that a vision is a mental image produced by the imagination. And then he says, it's deeper than that, Mr. Webster. And then he said he did the best he could, and everybody laughed. Then he said, vision has at its root an idea. Let's put that in the chat. Vision has at its root an idea. So the root of the vision is an idea. An idea is a well-developed thought. Y'all see how he strung that together? We went from vision. We actually went from idea to vision to thought. An idea is a well-developed thought. We just talked about concentration last Thursday. So if you missed the Mo Today series on manifestation last Thursday, go back and look at it. We talk about thought, concentration, and vision. This is why the brother thought it was such a great idea to send me this transcribed excerpt from this speech. Make sure you like and subscribe the page so that you get alerts every time we upload something. All right, so let me say this again. Vision has at its root an idea. An idea is a well-developed thought. In the comic books, he says, whenever someone has a brilliant thought or idea, they would put over the head a light or a light bulb. You hear Oprah say, aha, that's an aha moment. that said light got turned on in the guy's head. He saw something. He had an idea, but he really didn't have an idea. He had a thought, because ideas are different from thoughts. He goes on to say, the minister goes on to say that ideas, like thoughts, exist in the mind, potentially or actually as a product of mental activity. Type in the chat if you've heard us talking about that on Thursday as we talk about the mindset of becoming a powerful manifester. We talk about the process. See, somebody sent me an email and they said, why do we have to talk about these things? Because people back in the day didn't have to worry about that. And I said, people back in the day didn't have people spending millions and billions of dollars every single day to control their mindset. People back in the day didn't have to deal with this much competition for their minds. So it's literally like we've lost our sight. We had sight, but we lost it. In many cases, we did better right after we were emancipated as slaves, per se, than we're doing today. Because even though we have been slaves for 400 or 200 or however many years it was, 300 years, even though we have been slaves, we still had vision. And we knew to go into this field. We knew to separate ourselves and go do something for ourselves. We had vision, but then we lost our vision. We lost our sight. And so then Jesus came to give us back our sight. That's what we talked about at the beginning of this lecture in response to what the minister was saying. Jesus came to give us back our sight. So this is why we have to keep talking about these things over and over again. This is why you can't just read the scriptures or memorize Bible and Quran and think, I got it, I'm good. No, you need to figure out how to think, because you could know all the scriptures and still not be able to manifest. You can know every scripture backwards and forwards and still not be in a position to be able to get up and do something for yourself. If somebody don't feed you, a lot of times you won't eat, even with all the knowledge and all the scriptures that you have in your mind. So what we want to do is learn to take what we've been taught, these scriptures, these verses from these beautiful holy books, and apply it to a mind that understands mathematically how to think. And now we're on the road to becoming powerful manifestors. All right. So let's see. We read that. Okay, let me see. Ideas, like thoughts, exist in the mind, potentially or actually as a product of mental activity. So that mental activity is what I'm talking about, that we have to learn technically and mechanically so that we can apply all this spiritual knowledge that we've been studying all these years. You can't have an idea or thought if your mind is not active. See, what happens is we start this kind of memorization and regurgitation, but our mind is not active. So we have no ideas or no thoughts. And if we do get to step 2, where first we got the knowledge, then we get an idea or a thought, we don't know how to execute. So we're sitting there, man, I got this great idea. I think this would be great. You recognize these kind of people when you get in a call or on a call or in a meeting with them, because they got great ideas. They don't know how to execute. Brain waves on a machine that scans the activity of your mind, of your brain, show an electrical energy in the brain that says this is alive. What happens for a lot of us, because we don't have too much mental activity, we're not alive. The minister says electrical energy in the brain allows the brain to do what the brain is designed to do: create thought. Excuse me, create image, create pictures. Once you have a thought that is a concept, Once you have a thought, that is a concept. When you say, for example, he says, sister has conceived. What do you mean? Sister has conceived. What do you mean? She's pregnant, right? Conception is not baby. The conception has all the necessary ingredients to make the baby, but now it needs a period of gestation and growth in the darkness of the womb so that conception becomes a full developed child, baby, fetus, etc. So now he says, when thought germinates in the mind, listen to this good. When thought germinates in the mind, if you don't continue to think on the thought, if you don't continue to think on the thought, then the thought without more thought only is a thought that comes and goes. And you will say, when somebody else comes up with the thought, but thinks on the thought, you'll be talking about, they stole my idea. I had that idea a long time ago. They stole my stuff. They making money and I ain't got none. They getting all the attention and I ain't got none. They ain't nothing but a thief. And the minister says, wait a minute, fool. You don't have any corner on thought. You don't have any specific corner on imagery. Many of you have good thoughts, but you do nothing about what you think. So the thought was an opportunity that you blew because you didn't do by the thought what you should have done. You got to think on that thought. You got to work on that thought. You got to put that thought in the right gestational environment. See, because when God is trying to use a business idea or an invention or something and make it his platform, if you don't do it, he's going to just go get somebody else to do it. He don't have to wait on you. So the minister says you have to think on the thought, and thinking on the thought is feeding the thought. Then the thought develops into an idea, and that idea has with it a plan, a scheme, a method of fulfilling and concretizing what was a mental image that had potential. But now you want to actualize what you have envisioned. But if you even develop the idea or a thought into an idea and still not work the idea, then God will give the idea to somebody else who will fulfill the idea and fulfill the vision brought by the idea. Then he says, the idea will bring up a picture of the completed thing. That picture is in your brain. So you all hear us talk about before the idea or your goal even becomes realized, you pull that picture up in your brain. You pull up how you're going to feel in advance in your brain. You can draw it on a piece of paper. You can put it in your mind's eye, but putting it on paper isn't actually actualizing the vision. The vision is only actualized when you bring it into concrete reality. First, without faith, you can't work the vision. Even if you see it, you got to believe it. You got to now believe that you can bring it. Believe. Not only believe in God, but believe in yourself. Believe that you can do what you envision that must be done. But belief alone is not of any value unless belief is translated into practice or work. And it is belief joined by work that concretizes the vision. Y'all feeling me on this morning? Let me know in the chat where you at with all of this. Let me see what y'all saying. Okay, yeah, we talked about that. Some people are saying, Letha got the light bulbs. I see Brother Lamont says yes. Sister Roxanne. Yes, that's right. Sister Sharice, I see you here, sis. Vision has at its root an idea. And the minister said, Mr. Webster, you got it right, but it ain't all the way right. All right, so praise be to Allah, y'all. I really, really wanted to share that with you all today because it's so important. All of us have had that experience where we have thought of an idea, we had something we wanted to do, and we look up and we know we ain't told nobody, and we know we don't know the person who's doing it, but we look up and somebody else is doing it. How many? Tell me in the chat if you had that experience before. If you looked up and you had an idea and then all of a sudden you didn't do anything about it. You just stayed there with it and you looked up and you saw it on television. Not because you met with somebody who told somebody who told somebody, but because you literally had the idea and you just slept on it. Sister Roxanne says, what if you, let me put your question up here, sis. She says, what if you know what the vision is, but you can't actually see it in your mind? Ooh. So are you saying that you know it conceptually, or you have an idea of something you want to do, but you can't take it into your mind and create a vision? Then you still got to work on it. You still got to work on it so that you can see it. You got to, what I hear you saying is that you have a burning desire to do something that you really, really, really want to do, something that you really, really believe that you should do, but you can't yet visualize it. And if you can't visualize it, you can't plan it out and you can't put it on paper and you can't actually make it happen unless you give it to somebody else who can visualize it. So I would suggest what I do in cases like that, and that has happened to me. I'll start writing out whatever that vision is. I'll start to maybe look at videos about things that are similar to that vision. And then I'll start to really try to find a way to draw out the vision, kind of color in the lines. I don't focus on the how initially. So how it's going to get done is not necessarily the case, but actually visualizing it. And then even in terms of visualizing it, I'm feeling it. So if it's a situation where I know I wanted to create this pen and I don't know how I'm going to do it, I might not even be able to see this exact pen, but my mind is saying, create a writing instrument. Then as I'm visualizing, I start to go into my mind and I start to think about what it's going to feel like when I create this writing instrument. What is going to be people's reaction to this writing instrument that I'm creating? What is going to be my reaction to people's reaction to this writing instrument? And so I find the mental condition and the emotions that are there. And then as I start to flow through the emotion and I use that to help me put up my goal. Why do I want to create a mental vision? Why do I want to create this writing instrument? Well, maybe because I want something that's a little thicker than an ink pen. Maybe it's because I like the color. Maybe it's because I like the tip of it. Maybe because I like the way it feels in my hand. And so as I'm laying out all of those types of goals, that's also helping me with my vision, because I may be saying, you know what? All the other writing instruments I've ever seen are black, but I want something that has a different color. Well, now this is something that I can vision. I can say, I know I don't want it to be black, so we're not going to worry about that one. And I said, well, what color would I like it to be? Maybe I want it to be gray. And if I want to offer different colors, maybe I want the cap here to be the color that actually is the tip that comes out when you write. So now I can start formulating my vision in my mind. I'm not worried about how. I'm just coming up with goals. I don't want something black. I want something with color. I don't want something this thin. I want something a little thicker. I don't want something that I have to refill. I want like an automatic pen, something that automatically has ink. And once the ink runs out, it just runs out. I don't want something that doesn't have a cap. I want something with a cap. Whatever, I start formulating that in my mind. And those become some of the goals or some of the desires of the invention or of the thing or whatever. And then as I start writing that out, then I can begin to visualize, because now I've told myself what I don't want and I back myself into some of what I do want. And so now I can start crystallizing that vision in my mind. So let me know if that helps. Any other questions on that subject? Thank you all for being here today. I'm telling y'all better be at the Silver Room on Friday. Long as y'all don't ask me no questions, I'm going to keep talking about this event. Y'all see it up here in the corner? The flyer, the fundraiser at the Silver Room, 1506 East 53rd Street, May 20th. Shout out to Sister Aletha who gave me this beautiful cup. I see y'all looking at it. Thank you, thank you. All right, y'all. No questions. Y'all got me. No comments. Y'all get it. Y'all ready to begin becoming powerful manifestors? Listen, this is all about hacking our mind. Because this is why we get confused. Because we think we're so far in advance. We think we're better than the people we see on the pictures who were right up out of slavery. We see them, their pants is dirty. They might have on high water pants. They got on suspenders. They look goofy and weird. And so we think that we're advanced. We think that we've done better than them. We think that we're better than them. We look at them, we laugh. Oh, look at their hair. Look at the jacket they got on. It might be a little weird looking and look a little too short. And look at the skirt, it's all long. And look at the shoes, they dirty and a little turned over. But they had vision because they were able to do what we are still sitting around here struggling to do. They were able to get up and do something for themselves. And somewhere along the way, we lost our vision. And we got to the point where it became more important to get up and go to work and depend on somebody else. And we know it's wrong because we're always struggling to get off work. We're always struggling to not work. We're always thinking, oh, well, the slaves, da, 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 da. Stop that. Get up and do something for yourself. Find a way to give yourself more choices, more options so that you can do what it is that you want to do. You want to be in a position to be able to bless somebody. Aren't you tired of sitting up and because you're living paycheck to paycheck and because you ain't got no money, you can't even bless nobody? Y'all see me with this thing scrolling on the bottom, sajdahhousedonations.com. Don't it make you mad if you feel like you can't give anything? Wouldn't you just love to go out here and click it and give $10,000? But in many cases, we can't because we've bought into a mindset that wants to prevent us from being able to create independent projects like this, like urban historic restoration. So our vision has been taken from us. The only thing we can see is that check that we're waiting on every 2 weeks or every month, whenever we get paid, or every week. That's the only thing we can see. We can't even see beyond doing something other than what somebody else told us to do because our vision has been taken. But the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad came and said to us in this incredible book right here, if you don't have it, we got a pretty red bird out here. If you don't have it, you need to get it. He said the black man and woman must get up and do something for themselves. He came to give us back our vision. He told us to accept our own and to be ourselves. He gave us back our vision. And so now we can take all of this 400 years of experience that we've had in this country. We can take and recognize that over the past 400 years, we've helped to build and develop a system that was built around us as shadow slaves, as commodities. The whole capitalistic system was sophisticated, advanced, and designed based on us. Advertising, accounting, the legal stuff, all of that was based on the industry of slavery. Public relations, PR. Why? Because they had to make it not look so bad. They had to disguise the inhumane acts. So there was PR, there was propaganda, there was strategy. All of these are elements of capitalism that we use to this very single day. Well, if you and I wake up and realize and understand that what was done to us and what was done to keep us in a certain particular situation is something that we can own and master and understand to pull ourselves up out of that system if we have the right vision. Our prayers will be different. Our options will be different. We'll move differently. We'll think differently. So that's what this is all about. Brother Lamont said, whew, where there's no vision, the people perish. That's exactly right. All right, family. All right. Peace and blessings to everyone. Thank you all for listening this morning. I appreciate you. I thank you. Support this great urban historic renovation. We're going to go out with one last commercial, and I will see you all, inshallah. Let me see. Stay close to social media, because I think on Tuesday, we're going to be on the Brother Mandine show to promote the event. There may be some other news happening this week for event promotions. And then Wednesday, we're back for the Mo Today series on Black Muslim businesses. Thursday, Mo Today series on manifestation. And then Friday is the big event. So make sure you go out, make sure you donate. If you don't have your coin, get your coin. Because if my prayers are answered, they're going to be sold out. And so we're just going to go from there. All right, peace and blessings, family. Don't check off. Don't chip and dip me. Go to SajdahHouseDonations.com. Just because you don't have $1,000, go out there, give $25, $100, $500. If you got a little bit more to give a little bit more. We have to establish the independent restoration of properties that are significant to our underserved and ignored communities. It's time for us to own and monetize our culture.
This is Sister Sajdah Muhammad. We are proud to announce that the Sajdah House commemorative Elijah coins are finally here. As we renovate and restore the former home of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have recycled the old copper gutters and downspouts and created a 1-ounce 39mm coin made of 100% pure copper. Each coin is professionally graded and has its own barcode and registration number. This priceless heirloom, made from recycled copper from the messenger's home, is now available at SajdahHouse.com.